Today we're swapping LeBron James and Michael Jordan's careers to see who's actually the greatest of all time. LeBron will try to run the 80s and 90s as a Bull. Jordan will try to dominate for 2 decades while dealing with the Warriors dynasty, with both even teaming up with the other's most iconic teammates throughout the entirety of their brand new careers. Starting with LeBron James in 1985 with the Chicago Bulls, a franchise at this current moment with 0 championships in their existence. He'll be winning his titles first and setting the bar for Jordan when it's his turn to enter the NBA, which would be full of iconic moments in his own right. Los Angeles 112, Cleveland 111, the pass down to Jordan in the paint, he's fouled, and one! But for now, LBJ would be off to a hot start, averaging 24, 6, and 5 at the age of 18. But as a whole, his rookie season would be far from smooth sailing. Bulls would only win 37 games on the year, and while that would still be enough to make it into the playoffs, the 1-seeded Celtics would take care of LeBron as easily as can be, sweeping them in the first round, which at this time was a best of 5. So with that done, it's now time to move on to the 1986 season for year number 2 of LeBron as a Bull. But just like his first, he would still be dealing with some ups and downs. He's getting very close to the 30 points per game threshold while also improving his assist totals to 6.7 per game. But even then, the Bulls wouldn't be that relevant in terms of the postseason, as the Lakers would be winning the championship instead. And even as we'd move on to year number 3, he'd be presented with a brand new set of challenges. Because while his stats would continue to go up, officially averaging over 30, in the playoffs he'd run into the bad boy Pistons, a team very well known for their physical play. Even though at 6'8", 250, LeBron's built to endure the hits, at the end of the day it wouldn't matter. Bulls would lose, falling short in the first round best of 5.
The Chicago Bulls select Scott Pippen of Central Arkansas.
However, starting in the 1987-88 season, LeBron would be getting his most important teammate ever, Scottie Pippen, will eventually develop into one of the greatest wings and sidekicks ever. Just how many titles will he and LeBron run up? Because that'll directly affect Jordan in the future, as he's going to be compared to James when the time comes. But to focus on the 88 season specifically, LeBron would be winning his first MVP while leading the Bulls to their best record yet since his arrival, finishing 2nd place in the East. And he'd have by far his most successful postseason run in the process, taking down Dominique Wilkins' Hawks in the first round, his hometown Cavaliers in the second, and in the conference finals, he'd be New York's main event heading into Madison Square Garden, defeating the Knicks. At age 22, LeBron James has led the Chicago Bulls to their first ever NBA Finals, changing history dramatically in the process, as he's made it to the finals 3 years ahead of Jordan. But there would be little to celebrate shortly after, as up against the Lakers super team, the Bulls would fall behind, not being able to compete, going down 2-0. By the time the series went back to Chicago, this one would pretty much be over. Even though both teams would split the next 2, the Bulls would be down 3-1. And upon returning to Los Angeles, the Lakers would finish the job, handing LeBron James a finals loss. Depending on who you ask, his MVP season will be remembered in different ways. Some may commend how far he made it despite the odds, while some may focus on the loss as a whole as an unspeakable sin. But either way, he has until 1998 to right the ship, and for 1989, he'd have to get back to work. However, for the regular season, even though he'd be as good as usual, he'd finish in 2nd place for the MVP to Charles Barkley, who's still a few years away from heading over to Phoenix. However, it's established that LBJ will continue to be in the running for the award year in and year out, and what really matters for him is the playoffs. And in his second attempt to crack the Pistons, he would have no problem sending them home in a sweep, which would snowball into the following round as he'd do the same to Larry Bird's Celtics, making that a 7-game win streak to start the postseason off. And even though said streak would come to an end to the conference finals as they would have to go to 5 games to defeat Milwaukee, all in all, LeBron is back in the finals for a 2nd straight time in the same arena as last year. And in his 2nd attempt, the Chicago Bulls would have the edge. LeBron would win the individual matchup between him and Magic. Scottie is a year better than last, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is on the doorstep of retirement, and he specifically would not get the storybook ending to his career. LeBron James would relatively simply take down the Lakers to not only get his revenge, but win his first championship 2 years ahead of Jordan's first. So it's safe to say that in Jordan's shoes, LeBron has seen some pros and cons. But now it's time to move on to a new decade, and for James, it would really start to accelerate, because he'd be winning his 2nd MVP, averaging career best in every single category, also finishing in 2nd place for the Defensive Player of the Year award to Hakeem, who, as a side note, is starting to monopolize the award. However, the real storylines would begin in the spring as he'd take down last year's MVP, Charles Barkley and Philly in 6 in the conference finals, sending him to his 3rd straight NBA finals. And in the face of a new opponent, Clyde Drexler, the result would be the same as last year. Another championship, another finals MVP, and now a 2-1 finals record with his next goal being a 3-peat. But in the 1991 season, Chicago would hit a massive roadblock. LeBron's 3rd MVP season would be spoiled by the New York Knicks, who would send him home in 5. His finals record didn't get worse here, but he's not 3-peated. And eventually this same New York team would win the championship in the end. So it's back to work for the Chicago Bulls starting in the 1992 season. LeBron and Pippen would continue their strong play despite their setback. And even though LeBron wouldn't be winning his 4th MVP this year, the Bulls would bounce back in a huge way in the postseason, making it back to the finals again for a matchup with the Utah Jazz featuring passing maestro John Stockton and questionable Karl Malone. And these two would actually have the upper hand in the series, going up 2-1 to start. However, LeBron and Pippen would make a swift recovery, even reclaiming the lead at a point. But with a Game 6 loss, Utah and Chicago would be going to Game 7. In real life, Jordan never played in such, but LeBron's clutch gene is going to be tested at home for the championship. MJ had plenty of iconic postseason moments, and now we'll see if LeBron can do the same. Here we go, 3:10 left, Game 7. Utah, Chicago. LeBron and Pippen up against Stockton and Malone. The handoff. About to get the screen from Horace Grant. He's gonna pull up from about 18 feet. LeBron James with the jumper. Makes it a 3-point game. Utah calls a timeout. 87-90, 2:50 remaining. The final 2:50 of the season. The pass over to Stockton. They swing it around. They're running a play for Malone. Malone gets it with a lot of space. He bobbles the pass. The pass went awry. Stopped in the paint by Grant. LeBron James playing the defense. Blocked by James. Picked up by Utah. Puts it back up. Another block by LeBron. LeBron James with 2 blocks. The pass down, he turns it over right into Malone's hands. Stockton's gonna push. The pass up ahead with the pass over to Stockton. Left wing, 2:12 remaining, 11 seconds on the shot clock. Looks like they're going into their patented pick and roll, him and Malone. He's gonna drive right into the paint, the dump off, the layup, and it's back to a 1-point game. John Stockton with the assist, doing what he does best. LeBron James now, left wing. They clear out for him. He's gonna go to his strong right hand. The push off, the bump, the floater is in. LeBron James lowering the shoulder, the physical play. Fitting right into the 90s, 1:36 remaining. Chicago just has to hold on. 3-point game, John Stockton, he's gonna go for the tie, and it's good. John Stockton pulls the 3, perhaps ahead of his time, 1:22 remaining. LeBron James, he's gonna kick it out to Cartwright. Cartwright with the pass over to Paxson. They're running a play for LeBron James to go backdoor. It's stopped. He gets the lob. He misses the layup. Rebounded by Utah. Entering the final minute of Game 7. Stockton, 14 seconds on the shot clock. Getting the screen from Malone. He's going to pull up. He misses his shot, and it's rebounded by Grant, who passed it over to LeBron James. LeBron James with a crossover. Going to his left, into a crowd. Malone was there with the help. LeBron is going to fade away. No good. 92-92, 35 seconds left. Jeff Malone with the pass over to Stockton. Karl Malone standing at the free throw line. Stockton trying to get past Paxson. Gets the screen. He's gonna pull up. They go under. Rebounded by Grant, and Chicago calls a timeout. And with 22.7 left, LeBron James or Scottie Pippen will potentially take the final shot for the championship. 17 left. Looks like they're about to set a screen. It's either gonna be Cartwright or Grant. They're running a play for Paxson. Probably a decoy. It's Grant who sets the screen. LeBron James with the spin into the mid-range for the lead. 2.7 left. Utah calls a timeout. Game 7, potentially the dagger, the game winner. Utah inbounding. He's going to have to shoot it from deep. Jeff Malone, no good. And Chicago are your 1992 NBA champions. And in the end, LeBron's both proven that he can have an iconic finals moment, and he'd be rewarded with his 3rd championship in 4 tries. We're getting closer and closer to Jordan's 2003 entrance, and the bar keeps getting higher and higher. While he's definitely capable, it's not going to be easy for Jordan to surpass LeBron, because he wouldn't be letting up at all for the 1993 season, as the Bulls would be returning to the finals again. The obvious draw here would be the powerful Charles Barkley, one of the few players that may be as physically imposing as LeBron. But even then, all of that would wind up being fluff, as James had won his 4th MVP during this regular season, and he and Pippen would continue their usual antics en route to Chicago's 4th title as a duo. And so much success may have been a burden for LBJ, as for the 1994 season, on top of the basketball world, he would be taking his talents to the diamond, not only spending a year away from the game, but part of the 95 season returning with only 20 games left. And even though upon returning, LeBron would be up against literally his biggest opponent yet, he wouldn't need much time to warm up, and the Bulls would be advancing past the Magic in 5 to return to the finals against a new opponent. However, even though Gary Payton is an all-time defending guard, LeBron's a forward, and obviously he nor anyone else in the Sonics would be able to stop him. And the Bulls would keep it moving, winning another title, giving LeBron and Pippen 5. Whether you consider it a three-peat or not is completely up to you. But undisputably, this is the team of the decade, employing maybe the greatest of all time. Because as good as it's been, the Chicago Bulls would be hitting an unprecedented level of dominance in 1996, adding in the future Hall of Famer Dennis Rodman to the squad, and as a result the team would win 72 games as a whole, all the while sweeping the Phoenix Suns in the finals, with LeBron getting the better of Barkley for a second time. But while it's become increasingly difficult to find things to talk about as the Bulls have been so straightforwardly dominant, there would actually be a very interesting matchup in the 1997 finals between present and future, as the Bulls would be up against the 8th-seeded Lakers featuring Shaq and a rookie Kobe. However, while in a few years they will certainly be the NBA's best duo, right now they're just planting the seeds. Even though they put up the best fight in a while, pushing the Bulls to 6, the Bulls would be winning title number 7. And LBJ's earlier finals loss in his first appearance has been taken care of tenfold, now sitting at 7-1. And that now moves us on to the 1998 season for LeBron's last dance as a Bull, where Charles Barkley would continue being unbelievably unlucky. Even though he'd be teaming up with Hakeem Olajuwon, the Bulls would win the 98 title over him. And LeBron would now be heading into his second retirement with 8 finals MVPs and 5 regular season MVPs, as undoubtedly the greatest of all time. But the key word here is second retirement. And before we head over to 2003 to see if Jordan can do better, LeBron James would be returning to the NBA for the 2002 season at the age of 38. But considering he has spent a total of 4.5 years in his 2 prior retirements sitting out, he'd be even better than that age would suggest, and he'd unbelievably carry this Wizards team to the NBA Finals. But in terms of winning his 9th championship, he'd be completely out of luck, as getting out the East would be the best he'd do, as the Lakers would make quick work of the Wizards, with Shaq and Kobe defeating LeBron in 5 for their revenge. And even though James would play another season with the team, that was as far as they'd get, putting his finals record at 8-2. How you want to interpret that season and that record as a whole is completely up to you. But now it's time to move on to the 2003-04 season for Jordan's rookie year. And even though he'd be surrounded by plenty of other fantastic rookies, he'd be the best of the bunch by far, winning the Rookie of the Year. But even though he would do his part, the same could not be said for his teammates. And despite 2 MVPs from Jordan in 2007 and 2008, the Cavaliers wouldn't be in contention at all. That is until one fateful Game 7 in 2009. The Cavaliers would finally click, and Jordan's career is about to change. 119, 14 seconds left to advance to the finals. 8 seconds left. Mo Williams with the ball. He's going to go over to the left wing. He passes it over to Jordan for the win over Ray Allen. 1.3 left for the Boston Celtics. They have to pull off a miracle. The pass over to Ray Allen from deep. No good. And Michael Jordan's Cavaliers would be defeating the Boston Celtics, making it to his first finals 6 years into his career. But his sudden breakthrough is both a blessing and a curse. While it's impressive to make it to the finals without an all-star teammate, it's equally as daunting to go into the finals as an underdog, especially when faced with his predecessor and prototype for his play style. The 2009 finals would be a duel between Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. However, while MJ wasn't close to winning titles in his first few years, someone had to win them. And as part of history changing, Kobe already has 5, now looking for his 6th. And in Game 5, with the series tied 2-2, he'd get one step closer. Not looking good for Cleveland right now. On the brink of going down 3-2, Michael Jordan with the spin. Good defense by Bryant. Can't really get into the paint, can't get a clean look. Layup is no good. And as such, the Lakers would win this one to give themselves a chance to close out the championship on the road. But at home, Jordan would put up a spirited performance, and the ending to Game 6 would tilt heavily in the Cavaliers' favor. Game 6, not particularly close. Cleveland in the driver's seat, on their way to forcing Game 7. They pass it down to Jordan, pump fake, layup, and one. And there would be no Laker miracle this time. As stoic as ever, MJ would be sending the Cavaliers on a direct flight back to Los Angeles. And it goes without saying that a Game 7 win here would be huge. Not only would it be his first ring, but he'd also do what LeBron couldn't and bring a title to Cleveland in his first stint with the team. Here we go, Game 7 of the finals. Cleveland is up by 2. 1:39 remaining. Michael Jordan coming up the right side. They pass it over to Zerbiak on the left. He's gonna go to his left hand. Wally Zerbiak trying to be a hero down the stretch. The pass over to Kobe, guarded by MJ. About to get the screen from Andrew Bynum. Kobe is wide open from the right wing. His three is good. Los Angeles 112, Cleveland 111. The pass down to Jordan in the paint. He's fouled and one. Not only does Cleveland reclaim the lead, they go up by 2. Michael Jordan has 37. Championship on the line in Los Angeles, the Staples Center. The pass over to Kobe, down low. His left-handed hook shot is no good. Zerbiak pushing it on the break. He hands it off to MJ. MJ stopped by Bynum into a crowd, steps it back, wide open from 17 feet. 2 huge shots from Air Jordan. The Cavaliers on the brink of an incredible upset. They pass it over to Kobe at the elbow, driving to his right, the Euro step hanging. The finish is no good. Rebounded by Zerbiak, full court press by Odom. The pass over to Mo Williams, a dangerous one. The pass over to MJ, long 2. 3 straight buckets. And the Cavaliers have completely flipped this game on the Lakers in the last few possessions. The pass over to Odom, over to Gasol. The handoff to Derek Fisher, getting the screen from Bynum. Los Angeles calls another timeout. 18 on the shot clock, 24.5 on the game clock. The pass over to Bryant, going to his left. He hits Odom. Odom with his weak hand, the right hand, it's good. Fighting through traffic, Odom makes the layup, but Los Angeles is still down 2 possessions. Mo Williams, first free throw's good, and the second will make it a 6-point lead for the Cavaliers with 18 seconds left and no more timeouts left for Los Angeles. The pass over to Gasol. The pass over to Odom. His three-pointer, no good. Rebounded by Varejao. And eventually the Cavaliers would ice it with a couple free throws, now putting Michael Jordan 1/8 of the way to LeBron after winning a title in his first finals. And considering how many more years Jordan will be playing, it's very realistic that one day he might even surpass LeBron. But we'll just have to see it. His hardest challenges are still yet to come. For now though, the 2010 season would be MJ's final year on his contract with Cleveland. And even though he wouldn't be going back-to-back with them, he wouldn't be leaving empty-handed as he would win his 3rd MVP. But that would be it for his first stint with the team, as in the 2011 season, he'd be taking his talents to South Beach, forming a big 3 with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade, who's sliding over to the point guard spot to make room for MJ at the 2. In comparison to Cleveland, his numbers would drop slightly with the added help, but the trade-off would be that the Heat would win 65 games to finish as a clear-cut #1 team in the league. And in the playoffs, they would sweep past the Brooklyn Nets in round 1, sweep past the Atlanta Hawks in round 2, and sweep past the Boston Celtics in the conference finals, heading to the NBA Finals currently undefeated. But just like how LeBron faced many of Jordan's rivals in a different order, the same would be said for MJ and the Heat, as they would be facing up against the Thunder a year earlier than real life instead of the Dallas Mavericks. And up against this young and upcoming team, the Heat would extend their win streak with 2 more in the first couple games. And even though they wouldn't go undefeated losing Game 3, they'd eventually win in 5 to give MJ his 2nd championship in his first season as a Heat. Compared to LeBron at this point in real life, he's farther ahead. And for the 2012 season, his 2nd year with the team would be even more prosperous, as history's changed again, with the Heat meeting up with the Spurs 1 year ahead of real life. And between all of the all-timers on the floor, MJ would shine the most, and the Heat would win in 5, now giving Jordan 3 championships about a decade into his career. And in search of a three-peat, the 2013 season would see Miami up against the Spurs for a 2nd straight time. And even though they'd go down 3-1, MJ would step up his game facing elimination, racking up 2 wins to tie up the series, which would set the Miami Heat up for an iconic Game 7 closeout, with the Big 3 showing how strong they really are as a unit. The Miami Heat, led by Michael Jordan, on the brink of a 3-1 comeback, The first ever in finals history, Chris Bosh with the slam. D-Wade with the assist. The pass down to Tim Duncan. It's blocked by Shane Battier. D-Wade going over to the left side. Chris Bosh setting the screen for MJ. In the mid-range, he's gonna dump it down. Another dunk for Bosh. Tony Parker with the crossover. Into the paint, he missed the layup. No good. Rebounded by Jordan. Pushing the pace. Still with Leonard on him. Going into the paint. Left-handed layup is good. And the lead has completely ballooned for the Heat. And the Heat would be three-peating while pulling off the first ever 3-1 finals comeback. Michael Jordan now sits at 4 championships at age 29. And even though there would be no four-peat in 2014, he's a legend in the city regardless of how it ends. Which in this case would be the Indiana Pacers sending home the Heat. And also as a side note, the Spurs would bounce back with a title to close out 2014. But back to the main topic at hand. We're now moving on to the 2015 season where MJ would have his homecoming, returning to Cleveland. And in search of title number 5, he'd now be paired up with Kevin Love and his new backcourt partner Kyrie Irving by his side. However, even though this would be a 60-win team, the Cavs would only finish second in the East and third as a whole. He doesn't know it yet, but MJ has just become podcast material in the future, as the one-seeded Hawks would stifle the Cavs in what's sort of an upset. But these were the second and third best records in the NBA. And as far as number 1, it would be the Golden State Warriors who'd face up against the Hawks, where after 7 games, Steph, Clay, and Dre would be first-time champions. However, because it went to 7, there's a realistic shot that the Cavs might take them down, assuming they make it far enough. And with MJ officially back to winning MVPs, the Cavs would have more momentum than last year when it comes to the playoffs, sweeping both the Pistons and Wizards in the first 2 rounds and taking down the Bulls in the conference finals in 5. And that would set up the 2016 finals between them and the Warriors, which would play out differently than real life. The Cavs would win Game 1 on the road, followed by Golden State to tie. Then the Cavs would win Game 3 at home, again followed by the Warriors, making it 2-2. And that literal yo-yo effect would continue in Game 5, with the Cavs going on the road again, winning in Oracle for a second time, which in totality gives them a 3-2 lead. Unlike real life, where LeBron James was down 3-1, it's Michael Jordan in the driver's seat. However, the job is far from finished, and MJ's clutch gene will be tested down the stretch in Game 6. Here we go, 4 minutes to play. Michael Jordan with the ball. He's gonna pull up over Klay Thompson. No good. Offensive rebound by Love. Steph Curry getting the screen from Draymond. He's gonna pull up from way behind the line and hit it. It's a 2-point game. Kyrie Irving going the other way. He's gonna kick it out to MJ. MJ's 3 is no good. And Steph Curry off to the races. Still checked by Kyrie. The pass over to Barnes. His floater is good. And we're all tied up. Golden State trying to force Game 7. Anything can happen in the final 3:30. Michael Jordan guarded by Klay Thompson. Over to Channing Frye. He's stripped. Draymond Green with a defensive play. Outlet. Michael Jordan almost with the chase down, but Klay Thompson gives Golden State the lead. I was fully expecting a block there, I'm not gonna lie. Michael Jordan coming up off a screen on the left side. They pass it to him, he's driving middle into a crowd. Draymond's there with a contest, but Jordan makes the layup anyways. And we're back to a tie game. Iguodala on the wing. Klay Thompson's calling for it. He's being fronted in the post. They pass it over to Steph with 5 seconds on the shot clock. Barnes is gonna set a screen. Steph's gonna launch it from way downtown. 2:30 left. Kyrie Irving with the pass over to Channing Frye. Channing Frye in the game instead of Tristan Thompson, and he misses the layup. Harrison Barnes now with it. He's gonna drive right, has the switch, the mismatch, and his layup is good. Golden State reclaims the lead, and we're now entering the final 2 minutes of Game 6. Michael Jordan's gonna set a screen for Kyrie. Kyrie going all the way to the basket, left hand. No team has been able to consistently get any stops. We're all knotted up. 1:49 remaining. Steph Curry with the step, and the lead goes right back to Golden State. An offensive battle. Nobody can get a stop. Klay Thompson guarding Michael Jordan. Into the paint. Another tie game. Both teams fighting. Golden State trying to extend the series. They pass it down to Iguodala on the backdoor cut. J.R. Smith gets the stop. And the rebound. He's going to push it on the break. Kevin Love was sort of open on the right wing. Cleveland elects to slow it down. Channing Frye setting the screen for MJ. He's going to go all the way to the basket. Another two-handed slam. And Cleveland has regained the lead. 2 huge buckets from Jordan. 2 huge drives. Steph Curry with an attack of his own. Into the paint. Good defense by Irving. It's a 3-second call. With a bucket here, the Cavaliers can be in good shape, or they will be in good shape. Jordan in the post. He's going to pump fake it, kick it out to JR. The ball finds Love. 10 seconds on the shot clock. JR probably going to shoot it here. 7 seconds, over to Kyrie. 5 on the clock. Channing Frye setting a screen. He doesn't get there in time. Steph runs into it anyways. Kyrie hits the shot. Steph Curry tried to jump the screen. Kyrie stayed in place. Found the space. And now Cleveland's up by 5. They pass it over to Steph Curry at the elbow. They kick it out to Klay Thompson. A lot of ball movement. Klay Thompson on the back door. It's intercepted by MJ. About to pass it into MJ again. Not in the bonus just yet, or not shooting free throws just yet, I should say. They pass it over to Frye. Golden State not fouling, but they're going for the steal. A dangerous pass. It finds JR. First free throw for JR is good, and the second extends the lead, brings it up to 7. 24 seconds left in the game. Golden State needs a miracle. Harrison Barnes is going to pull up from 3. No good. And Michael Jordan would be bringing the state of Cleveland his second championship since his arrival, defeating the defending champs just like LeBron did in real life in a completely different fashion. But even though his finals record now sits at 5-0, he'll be tested in a way he hasn't been before. Because the 2017 season would see Kevin Durant head over to the Golden State Warriors. And even though the Cavaliers would be improved from their championship season, Golden State would clearly be better. The two would meet up in the finals and it would end in 5. For the first time, Michael Jordan has lost in the finals, and he would be entering somewhat of a downward spiral as Kyrie Irving would be going to the Boston Celtics. And as a result, Jordan's stats would head way back up, now winning his 5th MVP. But it may have came at a price, as even though he would carry the Cavs all the way to the finals, they'd wind up losing to the Warriors for a second straight year. Things change fast in the NBA, and very quickly, MJ's momentum has been completely stalled. So just like LeBron, MJ would be leaving, winning the 2019 MVP as a member of the Los Angeles Lakers, playing in the arena where he won his first championship as an opponent. And after being eliminated in the first round by the Clippers in 2019, the 2020 season would see the Lakers trade pretty much all of their young talent for Anthony Davis, and he along with Jordan would predictably lead the Lakers to the #1 record in the entire NBA. With the only issue being they wouldn't be able to take advantage of home court, as the 2020 finals would be in a neutral site, with the Lakers facing the Celtics for a classic matchup with the twist. However, even though the world has changed dramatically, AD and Jordan would pick up where they left off in the regular season. With the Lakers taking a resounding 3-1 lead, it would set MJ up for another iconic moment late in game number 5. A chance to end it in dramatic fashion. Dwight Howard on the inbound, finds Jordan, guarded by Jaylen Brown, 10 seconds left. About 14 feet away from the basket, steps back, going to the middle of the floor. He misses it, gets his own rebound, pump fake, layup, it's good. Los Angeles up by 2. The Lakers a stop away. Michael Jordan, the 6th championship on the horizon. Robert Williams on the inbound, Marcus Smart a prayer. And Air Jordan has done it again, winning championship number 6, back on the right track after their earlier Warrior roadblock. He and AD are stamped, and it's only a question if they can continue it going forward. But it's not going to be so simple, because the Lakers, whether self-inflicted or not, are going to deal with some issues in the coming years. In 2021, they would be meeting up with the Dallas Mavericks in the playoffs, and Luka Doncic would ironically send them home for obvious reasons. And as far as the 2022, 23, and 24 seasons, the Laker roster would either have poor fits, older stars, or just be consistently outplayed by other contenders, even extending their hardships into the 2025 season, where into early February, the Lakers would be hovering barely over 500, with MJ's odds to be named as champion dwindling by the day.
It's the biggest shock that I've ever seen covering the NBA all of these years.
The craziest trade in NBA history just went down.
Did you get hacked? Check your phone, you got hacked.
But on February 2nd, 2025, a one-of-a-kind trade would inject life into the Lakers, with AD being traded for Luka, turning around their season to finish with 50 wins. And even though Luka publicly lambasted for his physique and not being 100% in shape, the Lakers would fare better in this universe than in real life. The Golden State Warriors in round 1, the Mavs in round 2, and the Timberwolves in round 3 would be their victims. And once again, the Lakers would meet the Celtics in the finals. Luka would set the table, MJ would finish the play, and the Lakers' brand new duo would win the 2025 championship after just half a season together. MJ now has 7 championships in his 9 appearances, the question now being if he can get number 8 in the 2026 season. Well, with Luka truly coming back to form, dropping the weight and winning the regular season MVP, as well as MJ having elite level longevity at age 41, the Lakers' grand finale would be a beatdown on Broadway, with them sweeping the New York Knicks 4-0. Now, there would be an added twist of Luka winning the Finals MVP over MJ, but just like LeBron, his Finals record is sitting at 8-2. These two legends have combined to win 20% of all of the NBA's titles in its 79 years of existence. So with everything taken into account, eras, opponents, individual accolades and championships, who had the more impressive career? And who do you think is the greatest of all time?